because it doesn't really work very well if you wait till the morning of the quiz or test to figure out what's going on. You really need to stay with the program as we go. So here we go. Hyperbola. Where is the center? 1, -1. Everything emanates from the center. So that is, it's so easy to find it. So easy, but it's so important. All right, what does that 4 tell me to do? 2 sideways. So you got a grid there, so count over 2, count over 2. And then the 9 says up and down 3. So again, you got your grid there. So it's count up 3 blocks and down 3 blocks. Now, on the quiz you just took, you did that. Very same thing. And then connected them with an oval because it was an ellipse. What do I do with a hyperbola? I make a box. So I'm going to make my box through those points. Right? And then I'm going to go ahead and, bless you, put in my diagonals of my box, because these are going to serve as the asymptotes of the hyperbola. All right, so at this point now, everybody's got this, right? So at this point, we have answered only one question, and that is, where's the center? Now it's time to figure out where the vertices are. The vertices are always in the direction of the first letter. So when you made this box and you counted up and down and sideways, you got these points here. This one and this one are the vertices because X comes first, and those are the X ones. So what are the coordinates of those points? Those are going to be my vertices. So look at your grid. What do we got? -1, -1, and 3, -1. So in the blank on the quiz or test, it says vertices, 2 answers, right there, those 2. Because that is going to be my hyperbola. Nobody's grading your picture, but you have to recognize that those are your vertices. Now, because those are the vertices, what does that make this right here? This right here is the transverse axis, because it joins the vertices. Okay, how long is that? No. How long is it? Is the number. How long is that? 4. I went back and forth too. Don't overcomplicate it. That's simple. You went back and forth too. This is called the what? Conjugate axis. And how long is the conjugate axis? 6. So we went back and forth 2. So my transverse axis is 4. My conjugate axis is 6. Those are numbers you will write down in the answer blanks. What?
So there's no directrix or anything like that?
There are, but we're not finding it. Okay. Now, I need my foci. You need to recognize that your foci are going to be in here. Does everybody recognize that's where they're going to be? They're inside the curve. Now, these are points, which you're going to write down in an answer blank. What are the focus points? What are the foci? Now, since we're going sideways, see how all these points are in a line here? What do I know about every single point on that line? What do I know about it? They all have a y that's -1, don't they? So now I got to figure out my x. my x is gonna start at 1, because everything starts at the center, and back up a certain amount, and go forward a certain amount. We always start at the center. Well, what's that amount?
Square root of 5.
In this problem, it's the square root of
13.
13. This is a hyperbola. It's opposite of an ellipse. In an ellipse, it would be the square root of 5. But in a hyperbola, it's the square root of 13. So, which way am I moving? X. What is my starting X? 1. 1 plus root 13, 1 minus root 13. Everything starts at the center. Now, the only thing left, I think, is the equations of the asymptotes. So they are lines. I need a point, and I need a slope. What point did we say we were going to always use yesterday?
The origin.
Well, no. You use the origin if the origin is the center. But you use the center, whatever the center is. So in this case, the center is 1, negative 1. So that's my point. What's my slope? Well, think about building the box. What did you do? You counted up how many?
2.
No.
Oh,
We counted up how many?
Up 3 over 2.
And over 2. So your slope is, there's 2 of them, plus or minus 3/2. Slope is rise over run. So we do y over x. So now what are my equations? Well, y plus 1 equals 3/2 x minus 1. And y plus 1, actually I think I'll write it over here. Y plus 1 equals negative 3/2 x minus 1. Now, yesterday this was a lot easier because we had all those zeros in there. We don't have them now. Now we have to do the math. So y plus 1 equals 3/2 x minus 3/2. Now, you're going to have a calculator, so you either deal with the fractions or do it on your calculator, I don't care. I need to subtract 1 from both sides, so y equals 3/2 x minus 5/2. And then this one is going to be an entirely different equation. This one's going to be negative 3/2 x plus 1/2. And again, if you can't manage without the calculator, use the calculator to figure it out. Decimals are fine. And those are the equations of your asymptotes. Okay? All right, here we go. Next one. We're gonna just keep doing these. Hopefully it starts sinking in a little bit. So we got y squared over 4 minus x minus 1 squared over 16 equals 1. All right, so tell me what you know about this hyperbola.
So 1, 0.
We know the center is at 1, 0. Jack is all over that. Does everybody recognize that it's 1, 0? Remember, the point has to be x, comma, y. All right, now what?
Go side,
Side to side 2. Wait,
Up and
side
down.
to side 2.
2. Or, no, up and down.
Up and down 2. And by the way, won't those 2 points be my vertices since they come first in the equation? So this would be 1 comma 2 and 1 comma negative 2. And then I'm going to go sideways 4. And draw my box. Is everyone with us to this point? Okay, so you know you need to draw these in now. And we already talked about, since y comes first, this one's gonna open like this. So at this moment, you have filled in the center, you know what the center is, and you know where your vertices are. How long is the transverse axis? 4. And the conjugate axis? 8. Everybody got that? Okay. So now I need my foci. They're gonna be here and here this time, would you agree? Guys, they are points. They're ordered pairs. You always know something about the ordered pair before you start doing the problem. What do you know? We're going up and down. So what does that mean? X isn't going to change. So all the x's here are going to be 1. Now I need to find the distance from the center. Everything comes from the center. Well, what is it in this case? The distance from the center to the focus in this problem is square root of 20, which is 2 radical 5. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna put our little pencil right here at the center, and we're gonna go up 2 root 5. Well, where am I at the center? At the center, I'm at 0. So 0 plus 2 root 5, and 0 minus 2 root 5. Now I need my equations and my asymptotes. What point am I going to use?
Center.
Which is 1, 0. And what slope am I going to use? Okay. How many up did we count? 2. How many over did we count? 4. So our slope is 2/4 or 1/2. Right? So then my equations, point slope form, y minus 0 equals 1/2 x minus 1, or y minus 0 equals negative 1/2 x minus 1. Well, anytime we have zeros, we're happy. So won't this one just be 1/2 x minus 1/2? And this one is negative 1/2 x plus 1/2? Done. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. What are you going to start with? What are you going to record first? Jack's having a meltdown. Where's our center? Center is negative 1, comma 2. Guys, is it important that we get the center right? Because everything starts there. So if you don't have the right starting point, you're in trouble. So make sure you got your center right. So I think he's right, negative 1, 2. okay? Now, what?
Up and down 5. Size
Up and down 5. And side to side 2. Does that look okay to everybody? Now you've got a grid, so you can just count. But if I'm up 2 to start and I go up 5 more, aren't I at 7? And if I go down 5, I'm at -3. So that's where you should be. Again, you can just count. Okay, there's my box. Here come my asymptotes. Now I went ahead because I'm thinking ahead and I made these dots big and black because that is y and y comes first. So this is the way my hyperbola is going to open. Would everyone agree with that? Okay. This is my transverse axis. How long is it? 10. This is my conjugate axis. How long is it? 4. Easy. Questions? Easy. Now, would you agree, did you put your foci like here and here somewhere? They are points. What do I know about those points? Notice I'm going up and down to get to them, which means what is staying the same? The x. So the x is going to be -1 for all of these points. Now I need to figure out how far it is from the center up to the focus, that distance right there. How far do I have to go?
Square root 20.
Well, it's gonna be the square root of 29. So where am I starting? At 2. And I'm going up root 29. So 2 plus root 29 and 2 minus root 29. Huh?
I said this is not awful.
No. All right, now I need my asymptotes. My asymptotes are lines, so I need a point. What point will I be using? -1, 2. And I need a slope. Now, what's my slope? Remember when you built the box, you went up 5 and over 2. So our slope is plus or minus 5/2.
Together, Asher.
Emergency.
Yes, ma'am.
Take that emergency bathroom pass right there.
Which one?
All right, here we go. Y minus 2 equals 5/2 x plus 1. And y minus 2 equals -5/2 x plus 1. That's my point slope form for both of my asymptotes. So 5/2 x plus 5/2. Gonna add 2. And again, if you're not, can't do that, use your calculator. So you're gonna end up with y equals 5/2 x plus 9/2. Get a common denominator if you're doing it by hand. So there's one of your asymptotes. And then the other one, same thing. Only it's negative. Now, you all dutifully, or most of you, I hope anyway, are dutifully watching, you're copying all this down. You need to be able to do this on your own, okay? You need to be able to figure it out with your calculator, without your calculator, I don't care, but you gotta be able to figure it out on your own. Which is what we're gonna do right now, because there is one more problem. So, I want you to get started on it. And compare your answers with your people around you. And somebody's gonna come up and put it on the board. Now, I don't want you to be concerned. Did you notice anything about this problem? Are you far enough along? Did you notice anything about it?
There's a lot of things we have to see.
Huh?
There's a lot of things we have to see.
Well, when you start making your box, what's happening? You're counting up and down and around all the same number,
Yeah.
which is fine. What does that mean? Instead of having some weird rectangle, you're gonna have a nice little square. It doesn't change anything about how you do the problem. This is called an equilateral hyperbola, and it's fine. I mean, don't let that bother you one bit. Wow, I'm looking around and things are looking pretty good. This is what I see on all the papers I looked at. So let's pause a second. How are we center at -1, -1? Counting up and down and sideways 4. Opening this way since X came first. So vertices at -5, -1, and 3, -1. Is everybody there? All right, keep going. We'll talk about the rest in a minute. Keep transverse and the conjugate are both 8, right? They're equal. Are your foci where I put them? Which means what about those 2 points? Let's fill in what we know. What do we know? X, or excuse me, y is -1. Right? What'd you get for center to focus? Square root of 32, which reduces to 4 root 2 if you break it down. Okay, so what does that mean?
1 plus 4.
That means I'm gonna start right here. And what's my x? -1. And I'm gonna add 4 root 2 and subtract 4 root 2 from my starting x. Anybody find the asymptotes yet? All right, keep working, let's find them. You have to be able to do this on your own. You're gonna get lucky here, because the slope's not gonna be a fraction. What's the slope gonna be? 1 and -1, so your arithmetic's gonna be easy, hopefully. Very good with those asymptotes? Okay, let's look at number 2. Match the equation of the hyperbola with the picture. All right, so equation 1 goes with which picture? What do you think? Equation 1 goes with which picture?
C,
C. Why?
because they're both on the line because they don't have a starting point.
Well, the center is the origin, right? If I look at equation number 1, the center's the origin. Okay, and x comes first, which means it has to open sideways. So which picture has a center at the origin and opens sideways? C. Isn't C the only option? All right, equation 2. Now be careful. Where's the center of equation 2? -3, 2. Equation number 2. Center is -3, 2, and it opens up and down. So which one is that? A. Gotta be A. The center, -3, 2, and it opens up and down. All right, 3. Where's the center of 3?
B. Or center.
The center's at the origin for number 3. and it opens up and down. So which one has a center at the origin and opens up and down? B. And then 4, don't be confused by the way that's written. I know we're down to, we only have one option left. I can't remember which one it is, but there's only one left. But that equation can be written like this. All right, so don't let that confuse you. If there's no denominator, make it a 1. Where's the center of this guy? 2, -1, and it opens sideways. So 2, -1 opening sideways would have to be D. Everybody okay with that? Matching? Okay. Number 3. Write the equation of the hyperbola with foci at -3, 3, and a transverse axis that's 4 units long. Okay. Okay. Now, these are the foci. Which way does this hyperbola have to be opening if those are the foci? Sideways? Doesn't it have to be opening, I don't know, something like this? Right? Would everybody agree with that? Furthermore, what's the center? 0, 0. The center is going to be right in the middle of everything. Okay? So it opens sideways, and the center is 0, 0. So would you agree that the style of my equation is x² minus y²? Okay. Huh?
How'd you have to fill in those numbers?
I have to fill in the denominators, yeah. Now, stop, think. If the transverse axis is 4 units long, that's 4 units long right there, 4 units long. Then what does that mean? I started at the center and counted 2. Well, if I counted 2, then this number must be a, what? 4. Because the square root of that tells you how far back and forth to go. Okay, we're thinking backwards now. I have no idea what this is. But I know that from my center to my focus is 3. And in a hyperbola, don't I add these and take the square root? So 4 plus n square rooted has to be 3. Which means 4 plus n is 9. And n must be
5.
5. Puzzle. Think about it backwards. All right, one more. Let's do B and then we'll be done for the day. I gave you a grid, use it. So we have the transverse endpoints at 2, 3, and 2, -1. Now you guys, if those are the transverse axis, then aren't these the vertices? Yes, that's what transverse means. And won't your center be located right smack dab in the middle of those? So it looks like x is going to be 2. What is the midpoint or the average of 3 and -1? Now if you can't figure it out, just count on your paper. what will be that center? Oh my gosh, guys, come on. How far is it from -1 up to 3? 4.
4.
So the middle is gonna be up 2. This is gonna be 2, 1. You should be able to tell that from your graph, if nothing else. Now, which way is it open? Up and down, which means y comes first. In a hyperbola, you have to worry about that. You have to pay attention to whether it's y squared minus x squared or vice versa. Everybody understand why I did y squared first?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, from here to here, I went up and down 2, which means under y must be a 4. They tell me in the problem that the conjugate axis, I didn't draw the box, but if I do the box, the conjugate axis is 6 units long. So what does that mean? If it's 6 units, I went 3 each way, which means this number must be a... All right, we'll stop there, finish this up tomorrow. And homework will be due on Monday, okay? This homework is due on Monday. So please make sure you're keeping up with all of your assignments. A bunch of you didn't turn in the last couple, so